In fact, you know what? We're gonna do this too. We're gonna open this one. So I can post this. I can post the shorts one because I didn't do that last time. We're gonna do it this time. Pom pom. Wait, hold on. Get rid of this first, also, because I need to get rid of this, and then I can start with this. Okay, ready? 3, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, it's good to be back. It's good to be. You know what? I love it. That's a couple things. Number one, I love being back, and number two, it's time to talk the World Cup. Oh my gosh. So much to get into on this day's episode of Free Refill, episode number 71. It is 7:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, July 6th. For those who enjoyed the weekend, happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day, all that good stuff. It was quite a celebration, as it always is. Everybody's having a good time. And can it be capped off tonight with a win over Belgium? Can the United States advance to the quarterfinals? Can they make it by? I say yes, but of course there's a lot that goes into that. I'm hoping that it's just an exciting game. I mean, again, for US to even get to the round of 16 is big, but a spot in the quarterfinals would be immaculate. A spot in the quarterfinals would be fantastic. A spot in the quarterfinals would get me all riled up and ready to go. So I'm excited to get into that. A lot happened the past few days, of course. The main ones I'm going to get into today include Norway. Norway beating Brazil in what was, I think now, and I'm going to have a hot take. I know there's a lot of stuff about what the best parts of the World Cup is, but I have a particular take about the best part of the World Cup so far, at least from what I've been able to see. You've got, of course, we're going to get into Balogun. He's going to be playing tonight. Red card has been lifted by the greatest president of all time. I've lifted the red card. Oh my gosh, I heard him speak about it. We're going to get into all that, so that's going to be fun and entertaining. Of course, earlier today, Ronaldo, he played his final World Cup game against Spain in a heartbreaking loss that was, I mean, they came as close as they could to tying that game and not tying it. That was some brutal stuff there at the end. There was one more other, oh shoot, I had one more thing. It was another... That last night's game between Mexico and England, we're going to get into that. I thought that was a game for the ages. I thought that was a absolute cinema. You know, but absolute cinema is basically now the modern day version of saying one for the ages, right? It's like, you know, we say the same things, but we say them differently. We use different semantics. But that was one for the ages, absolute cinema. And then I'm going to top it off. I have to talk it off with my little NFL. I got to get my NFL talks in. NFL, of course, we had the executives ranking their top 10 running backs, and there's a certain running back that is missing that I'm very upset about. And to top it all off, this is a llama, and it is actually apparently supposed to be a bottle opener. One of my friends made it. It kind of works, but with how many times I open bottles, it's just when I open bottles, it just doesn't really hold. It doesn't really hold as much, you know. But yeah, we're going to get into that. And then I did see something from Marcus there that I'll talk about in just a second once I read off the comments. But let me get into that real quick. I see Jay. I see you, Jay, out here. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. In fact, you know what? Let's change this. I'm actually, instead of applause, I have a new soundbite that's just me. Yes. 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 I recorded that off of one of my games of Rocket League that I played. So it's just yes. 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 Oh, I'm going to be using that one quite a bit. Jay's in the chat saying, what it do, Big Pimpin'? Man, what it do, Jay? I'm having a great time. It is. I had a good 4th of July. I hope y'all did as well. I'm feeling good, man. I was able to get out of work. I was able to get everything set up. I'm ready to rumble. I'm ready to get into some World Cup stuff. And you know what? Let me go. I was going to go check in on D&E. More specifically, I was going to check in on David, see how he's doing. Because, man, that's got to be a brutal loss, man. I mean, to watch Portugal go down. I mean, to watch Ronaldo go down is some brutal stuff. So definitely not ideal there. So but we'll see. I'll go check on him after stream. I'm sure they'll still be going while US is playing. So I'll just give him a little drop by, say, just tough loss for Ronaldo. But we're gonna get into all that. But let me first. I got to kick this off with my main hot take about the World Cup because I mentioned this to one of my friends in talks of the World Cup, and I think, I mean, now that I think, I personally feel that there's one element of the cup that is better than Messi and Ronaldo being there and Mbappe being there. That's even better than the run that Capo Verde has had. To me, it's this man right here. Erling Haaland has been so far to me the absolute most hilarious thing. I mean, first of all, like say what we want about the entire tournament. This man's just funny. Like, I use this picture all the time. Erling Haaland looks like a friend who just thought of a very funny joke and just can't wait to tell you. Like, look at his face and tell me that that's not what he's thinking 80% of the time he's just existing. And he's hilarious. Like, all the stuff that's coming up on like his Snapchat stuff and his random posts. He's just a hilarious guy. And he is a dynamite player for Norway. I mean, I went in to the Norway-Brazil game actively rooting for Norway. Kind of because, I'm just a hater on like the bigger countries in general. But I mean, like, man, because especially countries that have already won the World Cup. Like, there's only been 8 countries out of 24 World Cup. Like, out of the 24 World Cups, there have only been 8 countries that have won. Like, come on. We can do better. We got to get other countries in there. But man, Erling Haaland is just so much fun. With like, what is it? Is it like every 10 touches he scores? Like 10 touches per goal is absurd. Like, he doesn't get it much, but anytime he's near the ball, I mean, you're expecting something. And it felt that way the entire time when they were playing Brazil. There were so many moments where he was right there. Like, he had before it was still tied 0-0, they had a cross in and he is like diving right at the right at the right goalpost to try to tap this thing in, and he gets so close. I'm like, he's going to score one. And then of course, late in I think it was I want to say the 79th minute, I want to say, he just gets a beautiful cross off a header and just kind of casually meanders into the box. He's not like charging down at full speed. He's just kind of setting up, getting to his spot, and then heads it, complete change of direction up to the right side, gets the first goal. And then his second goal, when you think that one could be topped, he gets a nutmeg bottom right corner goal. And I'm like, this man is insane. And you know what the worst part too was? The first goal I missed live because we were all watching it outside. We were all watching it, having a good time. And I go out to go grab an extension cord because it was getting hot. We were going to put like a fan on outside. So I went to go grab an extension cord from the garage. And in the time I went from the porch to the garage to get the extension cord and back to the porch, I had missed the goal. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I missed the first goal live. I was able to catch the second one, which was incredible. But oh my gosh. This man is so much fun. And I'm going to say it. I think he has been the best part of the World Cup. I think he's been better than anything that Messi, Ronaldo, and Mbappe have done. I think he's even been more exciting than like Cape Verde. I think this man has been dynamite. He's just everything about. It's got a certain sense of whimsy and wonder to it, what he does that no other player really matches. It kind of almost reminds me of Rob Gronkowski. The way I had to hate Gronk because my team was always playing him, but I'm in the World Cup. I can root for whoever I want. And Erling Haaland's awesome. Like, everything about him is just so entertaining, so goofy. Like, he might say something that's not even that funny, and it just is funny. He's funny. He's a good guy. He's a great player. And then now they face off against England, who just beat Mexico. That is going to be a dynamite game. I think that is going to be an entertaining game between Norway and England. That's going to be one. I think that's going to be great. Him going up against Harry Kane's going to be just fireworks. I think it's going to be an awesome game. I can't wait for it personally. I want to see it right now, frankly, if it wasn't for US being on in an hour. But oh my gosh, I love this man. This man is awesome. Honestly, I only have one soccer jersey, and it's a Modric Madrid jersey. So I think my second jersey for soccer is gonna be an Erling Haaland. I think it has to be. That's gonna be my goal. You know what? That's what I'm getting, because there ain't no way I'm getting anything else. Oh, there might be like a couple other things. Like I would probably I personally get a Messi jersey, even though I'm a hater. I'd be okay with a Ronaldo. I'd prefer not to get an Mbappe, but I mean, nah. I have to get Haaland. Haaland's just too much fun. And he's only 25. He's only 25, and he's got a real shot at getting this golden boot. So that's just incredible. That is so exciting. Good for Norway. Good for Norway making it this far. I think Norway's got a real shot against England. I also think England has a real shot the other way. I think it's going to be an incredibly entertaining match. Buckle up your seatbelts. Buckle your seatbelts. And also, forget buckle your seatbelts. If you're anybody who's not watching the World Cup right now, you're just doing yourself a disservice. If you haven't watched any of the World Cup, you should. Whether you are into soccer or you've never seen it before, you should watch it. You should watch at least, like, tune in for the last, like, 20 minutes of a close game or something. You're doing yourself a disservice by not having it on. Like, if you're at work and you're like working, no, don't work. Don't work at work. Put on the World Cup game, gather around in the break room, watch it. You know, you don't have to be watching it the whole time, but check in every few minutes. Like, watch the games, man. It comes around every 4 years. You're not going to get something that is as impactful country to country wise. Like, even in the Olympics, listen, I get it. The Olympics is also really big, but nothing matches the World Cup to me. Nothing matches the World Cup, at the very least internationally. Maybe on like a local national level, I kind of rock with things like football and occasionally the finals, NBA finals a little bit more. But nothing matches to the World Cup on any international level. It just doesn't come close. It's too much fun. It's too much fun to watch. Just too good. It can't be matched. And again, like I said, doing yourself a disservice if you haven't been doing it. Jay's in the chat saying, good dude as well. Yeah, he is so cool. Like, I wouldn't doubt it if, like, there have been stories of, like, somebody just, like a broken, like flat tire, can't change it, and all of a sudden Haaland just comes walking around, fixes it right up for you, goes on his merry way with that goofy looking smile on his face. I wouldn't doubt it. And maybe that's true. Maybe he's an expert mechanic as well, on top of being an all-star striker. Just awesome. Oh, Marcus also. I missed out on Marcus. Let me get Marcus here. I did miss that. I was going to talk about the. Appreciate you popping out, Marcus. I went to the France versus Paraguay game. Client gave me tickets. Gotta say, fun live, but more flops than 60-year-olds at a nudist colony. I have my hot takes about that game too. I have never seen, and I'll do it in this segment because I don't think I have a slide section for this. But I want to talk France Paraguay because I did want to talk about it, but I was like, man, I can't talk about it yet. But I'm going to talk about it anyway. France is a bunch of bums. I think they are so fraudulent and overrated. Like, listen, I understand people were like, Paraguay, very strong defensive unit, right? Like, oh, they're gonna beat them in, like that they were being so overly physical. Like, dude, really? Like, that team was overly, like, I get it. Like, there were foul calls and maybe you wanted more yellows on Paraguay. Fine. Let's say fouls were also called on Paraguay. Like, what do you want to do? Right? Like, and this idea that France kept their composure, first of all, France dominated time of possession and corner kicks, yet for the life of them, couldn't put a shot on goal. Couldn't. They needed a PK. And ultimately, Paraguay ended up, like, biting the bullet in terms of their physicality. Like, they ended up having to bite the bullet because they allowed a PK as a result of their physicality. Like, I don't get what people who are, like, glazing France upset about. A, they won the game, and B, Paraguay lost the game as a result of them being too physical. We were like, oh, there should have been more yellow cards on them. Like, what true difference does it make? Like, especially the third yellow card, I'm like, the France player just grabbed his jersey, pulled him close, and, like, put his finger in his face. Like, what do you... Like, how are you going to say, you know what, that's clearly the Paraguay guy's fault? Like, yeah, they wanted in going for a fight, but because they didn't like the French. They didn't like the French team. And frankly, I'll be honest, I don't like the French national team. I think right now, especially with the way they're playing, they got weak Sweden, and they got a Paraguay team that has an incredible top 5 defense, and it gave them fits. Like, honestly, with the way Spain played against Portugal today, if France and Spain played each other today, right now, I'm not so sure France wins that game. I'm just not. I think they do feel a little bit soft. They don't feel like if they feel they have to actually match up with a good defensive physical team, they're going to struggle big time. They just feel like they've got a lot of great players. Sure, they're a stacked roster, but my gosh, did they feel like pansies? They do. They feel like a bunch of whiners and complainers. I can't stand the French team. That's why I said I wouldn't want an Mbappe jersey. Like, Mbappe, yeah, to some level he's cool, but like no respect to the keeper, no respect to Paraguay at all. Like, maybe Paraguay was going in for a fight, but the keeper had a great game. I don't know how he could have possibly been overly physical with any player. Like, bro, you taunted him on a penalty kick. Like, you're supposed to make that shot. You're a top player in the world. You could argue the best player in the world right now. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, yeah, make your penalty kick. Get over it. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Mbappe's. I definitely wasn't a huge fan of France going into that game, and I definitely am less of a fan of that French team now. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So, moral of the story, Haaland's amazing. I don't like the French team, but I will say I would love to go to France one day. I could wear a beret. I could eat some nice French bread, sit there like a coffee shop, wait for a magical moped to show up so I can just ride around on that all day. I would enjoy that. I would enjoy the hell out of that. That'd be super fun. Go to the Eiffel Tower by myself. All right, anyway, moving on. So, of course, big news for the United States tonight. Flo Balogun, let me make sure he doesn't actually decide he's not going to play. So far, haven't seen anything. People were suggesting he sit out and pull like a what was it? What was that dumb commercial where the guy was like, oh, I touched the ball. Or was it Alex? I think it's an Alex. I think the kid's name was Alex. Like pulling in, like just straight up saying, I'm going to sit out. I touched the ball, whatever. Like that commercial, right? That's what people were saying. Don't do that, Flo. Just play the game. But of course, the red card got repealed, and I mean, listen, it's a testament to what most people already know. FIFA's basically soulless and corrupt, and will basically do anything they want to do for money, especially if the right people are asking, specifically the president of the United States. You know, it's a great country, it's a great team. They need their great player. Look, the way I see it is, first of all, I'm already in the camp that I don't think it should have been that much of a red card anyway, especially if you're going to do it through VAR. Like, if you're not willing to give the red card in, like, actual high level, like, octane of play, then I generally am against you giving it in the first place. Like, that's just what it is. If you need VAR to deal out a red card, then you probably shouldn't be giving out a red card. You know why? Because you're not allowed to give out a yellow card through VAR, which doesn't make sense to me either. Which is, I think, partially why Balogun got a red card in the first place. You can't give a yellow card through VAR. It's not a thing. It's not a thing that exists. And my guess is probably because it slowed the game down like crazy. But listen, if you can't give a yellow card through VAR, how on earth does it make sense to get a red card? Especially if you're on your second yellow. Let's say you get a second yellow and it's upgraded to a red. You can't even review that through VAR. Because you got a yellow, but you can't overchange the yellow, even though it's now red. My point is, it shouldn't have been a red. They did the right, like, in my opinion, and I would say this not just for Balogun, I would say this for any player that got a red card. Hell, I feel the same way about the England player that got a red card in the game against Mexico. I would argue that should also be revoked. Like, because let me explain why. You're at the World Cup. You're at a tournament that is once every 4 years. Once every 4 years, these are athletes that play for their country. These games are huge. These games are huge for the country. These games are huge for the individual. Like, and to sit here and say, listen, you made one error, basically, in the entirety of the game. You not only can't play the rest of the game that you're currently playing, but you also can't play the next game. When in reality, and the argument for not is because it's a dangerous play. I don't know if you guys have watched soccer. Most of it's dangerous. You got guys hitting bicycle kicks in the goal surrounded by other dudes. You got dudes trying to headbutt the ball, trying to headbutt it either out or in, and they're like colliding right next to each other, which is also risk for a concussion. Stop using the "it's a dangerous play" rule to justify a guy being out for an entire 90 minutes of play in a tournament that only happens once every 4 years. I don't care if it's Balogun. I don't care if it's the England player from last night. I don't care if it's the 12th best player on Colombia. I don't think it's justification to miss up to what could be a maximum of 180 minutes of soccer. Like, imagine somebody gets a red card first play of the game. Not only are they ejected from that game, they're also missing the rest of the next game. It's an egregious rule. It doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. Forget the rule existing. It's an illogical rule to begin with. So yeah, Balogun should play. Granted, I don't think it should happen because, the president of the hosting team of the World Cup just says that it should be. That really conflicts me that the organization is that corrupt, but I feel like they should have been able to come to a reasonable conclusion about this without that being the case. And the fact that they did significantly taints whatever the United States does against Belgium anyway. Even if they win, the argument's going to be, oh, well, Balogun shouldn't have been playing. Dude, with all due respect, shut up. It's just, get over it. Balogun's playing now. And Balogun should have been playing in the first place. Not twist anything there. He should have been playing. That's the reality. It makes no sense. It's crazy too how and I say this when people talk, especially now with the World Cup being hosted in North America, with obviously a lot of Americans now getting very invested in it because the US has made it past the round of 32, and being, just being in general a big prevalent event that's being hosted now in their country. Obviously a lot of Americans are going to get into the World Cup. And obviously they're also learning rules, but they're also seeing rules that to them don't pass the eye test, which in general they don't. And then you have a bunch of people who have watched MLS or, Major League Soccer for years, watched the World Cup for years, right? And they're commenting on the perspective of any American viewer. And the reality is this: if a large group of people see something that doesn't pass the eye test, you know what that means? It means from the perspective of, let's say, someone who watches internationally, you were probably living in a little bit of a box. Because, again, the perspective of the rule, if someone can look at it and say, that doesn't make sense, and it, in some cases it can be explained. In other cases, to me, just use a little bit of, the brain. Use a little bit of common sense and logic and dictate that it doesn't really make sense for a player to have that much of a penalty, especially in a tournament that's as important as this. The once every 4-year tournament. It's not like it happens every year or every other year. It's a little bit different. It's 4 years. It is the Olympics. It is essentially the Olympics. It's come on. Come on. Let's not do this. It's very similar, essentially. Come on. It doesn't make sense. I would just say in any instance, I don't think red cards should be that harsh and that penalty stricken in what is already a contact sport, and has already multiple moments in games where players will have dangerous stuff happen. Whether you're you could be bike kicking it in the box, you could be heading it trying into the box, you can get a concussion that way. There's just going to be dangerous plays. You can yellow card it, sure, until you can actually VAR review yellow cards, but I mean, to upgrade from nothing to essentially a red card, and then also a massive, basically suspension of basically over 100 minutes. Yeah, no. Ridiculous. Ridiculous and silly. Which is what it is. Regardless, Balogun's going to play tonight against Belgium. That being said, Belgium's not, as much as I don't, I think the United States still has the edge. But Belgium's no joke. And I think, especially after what they were able to do against Senegal, with Senegal having as much control over the game. Now, you could argue, was it Senegal throwing? Was it Belgium coming back? Belgium's got a certain thing where you just can't count them out. Even if U.S. goes up 1-0 or let's say 2-0, with the 30 minutes left to play, it's could much still be in an opportunity where Belgium can make some stuff happen. But I gotta feel I feel good about the U.S. I really do. I think they move on. Ultimately, no issues. I really do. Not no issues. It'll be a good game. But I think the United States is I feel very good about them making a deeper run into the Elite Eight. I don't know how much further they go there, or the quarterfinals, whatever. It's, Final eight, Elite Eight, quarterfinals, whatever. They I think have the capabilities and one of the better teams that they've had in a long time to be able to make a real run. And I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Jay's also in chat saying, I got an old USA Lawless jersey. That's pretty sick. That is pretty sick. I'm looking to I really do want to upgrade though. I want to get like I really want a Haaland jersey. I just do. It's just too much. He's too funny. It's too cool. You know what? The other problem is that also like I mean, not that it's a problem, but I just want the Haaland jersey, but I also wish I had like I knew for a fact I had at least a little Norwegian in me because then I can really embrace it to the tried and true 100%. I probably don't. My guess is I don't. I might because my dad's German, so maybe there's like a small trace in Norway down the line. But I don't know. I'd have to do some ancestry stuff. I'd have to, rip out my hair and, pee in a cup or something. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know how they figure out your DNA, your ancestral line, but I'll figure it out at some point. Just today's not the day. Moving along, past Balogun, I got to get into last night's game. So England, Mexico. This one, I mean, this was honestly, again, this was an incredible performance. And I got to say, I had Mexico in this one. I was rooting for Mexico in this one. But just hats off to England, man. I mean, really, of course, obviously, Harry Kane's penalty kick, huge to put them up 3-1. Mexico striking back, and then England just holding on with 10 guys. Like, that was wild. That was an incredible, impressive defensive performance. I mean, they just... I've always said that. Well, I was talking with one of my friends who was over yesterday about England in general. The fact of the matter that England has only won one, which seems kind of shocking to me. But additionally, with how good this England team has been how stacked when you look at the England roster, it's an insane cast that has been so good for years, like been an incredible roster for years, and still has never broken through. Like, I would think with the roster that they've had in England, they would have had to have broken through right now. Like, I would have thought they'd be up there with almost Brazil with the amount of titles that they'd be close to having with how good that roster is. And yet, there always seems to be someone better than them. They were able to down Mexico after I thought Mexico was going to win, especially after what they did to Ecuador. But hats off to Harry Kane and company. They did a number, and it was, again, like, it was just very tense the entire time, knowing that they were down a man for a large, like, almost a majority of that, like, a large majority of that second half, like, basically 3/4 of it, and still being able to hold on, win 3-2. They'll advance to play Norway, and again, that to me is going to be an incredibly entertaining game. I think Norway versus England is probably going to be the best match of the quarterfinals by far. I think there's going to be so much intensity in that. I think just the collision course that those two teams have been on, especially these last two games, with Norway knocking out Brazil, England with a very strong, not just offensive, but defensive showing against Mexico. It's going to be one for the ages, and seeing, like, I can feel... I don't know what's going to happen exactly, but I could feel like I can almost anticipate a little Haaland magic once again. I don't know. I'm probably going to be pulling for Norway pretty much the rest of the tournament until they unless they were to like face the US. But I think I'm going to be, even if Norway faces like France or Argentina, I'm pulling for them hard, dude. I would love to see a couple things. Number one, I'd love to see Norway win it if the US can't. But secondly, I would 100% love to see Haaland snatch that golden boot. That would be incredible. That would be incredible for Haaland to come out of nowhere, beat out Messi, beat out Mbappe, get the golden boot, have a big old goofy grin on his face. Oh my gosh, it'd be so much fun. Oh man. I need that. I need that. If that happens, I'm definitely getting a jersey. I'm probably getting a jersey regardless, but if that happens, it's like the millisecond I'm going online, and I don't care how overpriced it might be. I'm ordering it. I'm ordering it 1 day delivery, and I am parading it around. I'm parading it around my town, dude. Like I am ready for it. That's incredible. Jay's saying an Orlando Magic 1995 NBA Champions hat has been found on eBay. The price $2,498.98. Let me see this. 1995 Orlando hat. Okay. Oh, Well, this one. Wait, no, that's the division hat. Where's the? Where is it? $95, 56. You clowning me, Jay? 199. No shot. Eastern Conference champs. A bucket hat for 35. 5 NBA champions hat. Really? Orlando. Maybe if I type in Magic, it'll help me. I guess I didn't type that in. Eastern Conference Finals. I've only seen Eastern Conference. Man, I was gonna buy it. I was just gonna drop like a massive check just for that. Guys, hear me out. What if I bought it right now? Oh, I found it. I found it. Holy crap. Whoa. Few details. Vintage Orlando Magic snapback. Oh, error. That's why. Wait, what? Wait, what do you mean? Wait, hold on. Error? Don't they just make them for both teams? What does it mean, error? Magic snapback error. What's incorrect about it? Was it just the fact that they... I don't understand. But don't they make... Is that not a thing anymore? Did they not make the apparel, like in case both teams win? Did they not do that in the 90s? What? That's crazy. 5. Or didn't Orlando... Wait, hold on. Now I'm lost. I know they didn't win, but I mean, like, I thought they would have just made it for both teams. I guess they didn't do that back then. That's crazy. I mean, I guess when did they start doing that? They had to have done that fairly recently. They aren't supposed to come onto the market. They're usually sent out to Africa. Oh, okay. So they never come off they never come into the market, which is why they're rare. Interesting. But I mean, like, okay, say we just go to Africa and like, let's say, because hear me out. Hear me out. We get some clothes. Like, you could. This is a crazy. This wouldn't work, but this would totally work. You could do this. I don't recommend doing this, but if you could totally do it. You could totally go to like your local Goodwill, get like a bunch of clothes for like really cheap, and then take a flight out to like a let's say a place in Africa, and then just what I would do is I would just trade those shirts. Like, I'd trade those t-shirts for the championship shirts and just bring them back. That's crazy. They never make market at all? Like, they just get sent there right away. That's so interesting. Like, I would imagine at least, like, why they could also... Oh, you can give a kid $2 for a Spurs championship tee? I mean, yeah, but I don't know, like... I mean, probably currency would probably work there. But, I mean, look, man... Hey man, I need to go get my son's find champions merch. I need to go find it. I need to go find that kid with the Devin Booker MVP. Oh man, that hurts. That hurts that there's you know what? Maybe I... Yeah, well no, if I were that kid, then I probably wouldn't know who the Suns were, and I wouldn't be... Go to Goodwill anyways. Someone found a game used Wilt NBA Finals warm up for like... What? What are people doing? They don't even put that on like... They don't like even like frame that? That's like a thing you frame. That's like a thing you frame or keep tucked away or vacuum sealed or something. You're not going to keep the game used Wilt jersey? I'm going thrifting tomorrow. I'm getting out of work 5 o'clock, gonna go thrifting. That's probably gonna be... Man, that's insane. That's no thought was thought about that. Nobody thought about collector's edition there with the Wilt jersey. Man, they had their chance. They should have done that. They should have at least thought about it for just even a little bit. No thought that it might have any. Okay, must have hated Wilt. I don't know what to tell you. They must have not liked him. But yeah, England beats Mexico. It's gonna be very exciting to see. One other World Cup game, and then I got to talk a little football, and then probably gonna wrap it up there so I can get ready to watch U.S. and Belgium. First off, obviously heartbreak for Portugal. They lost to Spain just hours ago, and I gotta say, I'm a little bit of a Ronaldo hater, but this was a tough way to see Ronaldo go out. Obviously he's 41. He's not like he's in very obviously still very good health, but it is a little painful to see a legend go out this way, especially because Spain getting. I mean, this was a 0-0 game for 90 minutes, and then at the 91st minute, what is it? Mayan gets the goal to take the lead. And even with 6 minutes, Portugal had like 2 or 3 really good chances to score. I mean, who was the short guy that they had on their team? Like, I mean, this guy couldn't have been more than 5'11". Short guy comes in, gets a big time header, and it just goes slightly all over the crossbar. And I thought I looked at that and I thought that was in. I thought alongside half the stadium, I thought that shot was for sure in. And I think that was when I was like, that's the last chance they really get. And my gosh, to see, I mean, obviously it's very tough, especially playing for a country that's never really had been able to get that far for Portugal. I'm still gonna say I love Ronaldo. Well, I love what what Ronaldo represents. Ronaldo to me is like it is what it is, right? Like I'm still kind of a hater, but to see him play his last World Cup game obviously does hurt. I mean, I think that was probably it. I mean, you're at 41 at this point. He's already got some of the issues with his bones and a little bit of issues there, just getting older. Yeah, like that's kind of brutal. That's tough. I gotta say, like, I wonder how David's doing holding up. Tough to see Ronaldo go out that way. It was gonna be uphill. It was gonna be an uphill battle, even like based on what the outcomes were. For Portugal to be here at all was very impressive, and the fight that they put up was beyond impressive. Spain, you gotta also give credit to Spain. Their defense, I mean, they haven't allowed a goal all tournament. They haven't allowed a goal all tournament. Whether we're looking at the beginning of the tournament in like this group sections, or if we're looking right now in terms of like even now in the knockout rounds. So they've been doing a very impressive job. They have a very impressive defense. It's like them and Paraguay. I think both played incredible defense. I gotta give credit to Spain, and it's a shame to see Ronaldo go out this way. But I mean, again, like there are going to be people getting knocked out of this tournament. Like Kane or Haaland's going to have to leave at some point. I mean, we presume Messi's going to beat Egypt, but I mean, does Argentina have enough to go all the way? I mean, there's only one winner at the end of the day, but it is tragic to see. I mean, also like when you have Ronaldo going out, Neymar exiting for the last time, Modric when Croatia lost, right? So a lot of these older guys. I mean, it's kind of the last guard, I guess. It's kind of like a real changing of the guard with a lot of these guys, with Ronaldo, with Messi, with Neymar, Modric. It's gonna be a very interesting World Cup come 2030. It's definitely gonna be a very interesting World Cup come then because of how much is going to change, how many new young stars will be taking over the league, and I mean it's very exciting to look forward to. But of course, it is a shame that this is going to be the last run for a lot of the guys that I think, for at least for me, were very much a part of my childhood when I was playing soccer, especially Ronaldo and Messi for sure, 100%. So just a tough way for them to go out, but a lot of respect for Ronaldo. Even though I am a hater, I am a hate watcher. A lot of respect for him, and just on an incredible career. But hats off to Spain. They're going to be moving on. It's going to be entertaining moving forward. Jay saying the team paid 307 for it. Very good. Wait, the game used Wilt jersey was bought for $3.07. See, this is what I'm saying. I think what Goodwill should do, smart, go into these Goodwill places and they'll look for some of this stuff, then they'll sell it for a good amount of money so they could make more money to get other clothes for other people. That makes sense. Because I mean, yeah, you could sell the Wilt jersey to like somebody, but then also like you get, I don't know. I mean, unless you want to give it to the person and have them sell it for their money and they can get more clothes or whatever they want. I guess that also works too. I mean, some of these people don't even know. Like I would. That's what I would do if I'm working. If I worked at a Goodwill, I'd be scouring. Like I'm buying this, straight up buying it. Like I'm sorry, it's mine. I want the. Like I can't tell you. I can't tell. One of my greatest polls, and it was definitely planted there, 100%. But it was a photo. It was a photographed picture of Tiananmen Square. Like just it was Tiananmen Square in a framed photo, and I was like, well, that's a cop. That's going up. That's going up like outside my room. Like that's gonna be awesome. Like some of the crazy stuff that's found in Goodwill, it's some of it's meant to be found, and that was definitely one of them. But I gotta say, what can I say? You know, that's what it was. I think it's probably up there. I'm not putting it in frame. I don't know if I'm allowed to even show it, but it is what it is. If it ever gets there, I might show it. All right. That's all I have so far on the World Cup stuff for today. There is one thing I got to talk about because, of course, I can't talk about football without talking about, or can't talk about football without talking about football, and that is none other than the executives top 10 running backs. I actually didn't put it in the short slide, but whatever. Nobody watches on that anyway. That's just me recording, so I can use it. So, to give context, obviously the executives in the NFL, whatever, the top executives and scouts, they do a ranking of top 10 running backs today in the NFL. And for the most part, their list didn't necessarily suck. But I'm going to say that, to be honest, they missed in a couple of big spots. I think they missed. I think they missed in a lot of big spots in the NFL on the top 10 list. I just think they did. One of the big ones to me by far, well, let's start with the list. They had Bijan at 1, and they had Jameer at 2. That's fine. Bijan, incredibly talented, explosive, makes catches out of the backfield, great at blocking, does a lot very well. Bijan Robinson, no problem having being 1. Jameer Gibbs at 2, explosive, also dynamic, not necessarily like the same type of blocker, but his home run threat ability right now, probably not matched by anybody in the league. So that's 1 and 2. Number 3, they have Saquon. Now, Saquon did have a down year, but I think it's fair. I think it's fair that he's still top 5. I think he's still very impressive. I think he suffered from what was ultimately a bad Philadelphia Eagles offense last year. It was out of sorts. It did not look the same. And teams were likely cued in on Saquon more because of how much he was running the ball. Christian McCaffrey at 4. I get it. I think it's a little high. In fact, I'd argue I would maybe switch him and say Derrick Henry, personally. But I get it. McCaffrey's an incredible receiving back. He's incredible out of the backfield. He did have only 3.9 yards per carry. That being said, because of how much he does for that offense, I kind of get it. I would still put him on this list of top 10. He deserves to be there. Jonathan Taylor at 5. I think kind of underrated, but I also think right where he should be. Jonathan Taylor ranked right at 5 makes a lot of sense. Derrick Henry at 6. Again, I would swap Henry. I'd put him at 4 and McCaffrey at 6. But again, that's just personal preference based on going into this year. I think Derrick Henry is just a much more. I think I can, believe it or not, I think I rely more on Derrick Henry to be healthy than Christian McCaffrey. 7th is James Cook. At hindsight, that looks disrespectful because for somebody who just led the league in rushing yards, you would expect them to be a lot higher. But I think James Cook at 7 is fair, especially when you think that not only he led the league in fumbles, like he fumbled 6 times, I think lost 3. So yeah, James Cook at 7 makes sense. I do think it's impressive that he led the league in rushing, despite the fact that Josh Allen also takes up a large chunk of those rushing yards. But I mean, hey, credit to James Cook, very dynamic player. 8 is Devon Achane. Good, but Fine. I mean, I guess very good year. I think that's a little high. I think I'd put him closer to 10. But that being said, 9 and 10. Here's 9. 9 is Kenneth Walker for the Chiefs, and then 10 is Brees Hall for the New York Jets. I gotta say, that's not a bad list, and I see where they're coming from, but I think you're missing one critical player, and it bothers me that he's not there, and it's Kyren Williams of the Rams. Kyren Williams is a top 10 running back. I've already, listen, yes, Brees Hall is on a bad team. Sure, fine. That does not change the fact that Kyren Williams has been more productive, and I think he's an overall better player. I think he's a better receiver out of the backfield. I think he's become much better at blocking. Yeah, you can argue he doesn't have the same explosive, build. He doesn't have the build of a Kenneth Walker, and he doesn't have, potential explosiveness that Brees Hall has. But let's be honest. And yeah, Brees Hall's been in an awful offense, and Kyren Williams has been in a great one. But right now, if you're asking me to add a player to a team, I'm probably adding Kyren Williams. I think what he does for the LA Rams is so undervalued and understated in the league. And part of it is because he has a great quarterback and he's got a great team around him. They have incredible wide receivers. They have a very good offensive line. They have a very good offensive coach. But again, Kyren Williams was, 6th in the league in rushing, when out of all of those guys, your Derrick Henrys who were up there, your Jonathan Taylors who were up there, Kyren Williams was splitting a significant amount of touches with Blake Corum. Blake Corum was 27th in rushing, which is pretty good considering there are 32 teams in the NFL, and you still had 2 rushers inside the top 32. Yeah, he had 700 rushing yards. Kyren could have easily had 1,1700 if they had given him more of the workload. They chose not to, because it kind of makes sense, and honestly, they probably don't want to pay Kyren this coming year because they have Blake Corum waiting in the wings. But, I mean, what he does is incredibly impressive. He's done a lot for them the last 3 years. I think it's disrespectful that he's not in this top 10, especially when I think he's better than Walker and Brees Hall for sure. I know Kenneth Walker had a great Super Bowl run. I don't care. I know Seattle won. I don't care. I think, especially in terms of receiving, Kyren Williams Kenneth Walker's kind of just a worse version of Derrick Henry. And when you're a worse version of Derrick Henry, no disrespect, but you need to be really good at running the ball to not have it. It's why Adrian Peterson was so great, right? Adrian Peterson had no receiving ability, but yet he was such a good running back that it didn't matter. That's kind of my issue with Kenneth Walker. Yeah, Kenneth Walker's really good, but he still lacks a huge part in the receiving department in comparison to other backs. If you're not Derrick Henry levels or Adrian Peterson levels, and you don't have that receiving ability, dude, that's kind of a problem. It's just a little bit. It's just a little bit of an issue. And it kind of shocks me that executives and scouts would rank him higher than someone like Kyren Williams, or even Josh Jacobs, who's, I think, at the same level. I think the reason they might like Walker more is because he's younger, but they're very similar in terms of being the same running back. They're not great receivers, but they're great downhill runners. I think Kyren's more versatile than both of them. I'm surprised they wouldn't put Kyren Williams on this list, and frankly, that's me a little bit. And I'll be reacting to more of these executive lists as we go, but I think Kyren Williams should have made this, and the fact that he didn't is, to me personally, a little upsetting. Not a bad list overall, but I think a little upsetting. I would have swapped Henry and McCaffrey. James Cook's probably right. I think they overrate Achane a little bit, but I mean, I think the top 6 is probably right. I mean, I would actually put Derrick Henry 4, slide McCaffrey down to 5, and then put Taylor outside at 6. It feels like I'm underrating Jonathan Taylor, but I don't know. It just is what it is. Mark Slaughton saying, Russia versus North Korea needs to be played in soccer because the losing team would face firing squad live on the... Dude, you know what I was reading? Back in... Apparently, I don't think it was the World Cup, but I think it was a crazy Champions League tournament back in the day. Or no, not back in the day, but in the past 20 years, something like that. Brazil was a super huge favorite over the rest of the league. And I remember we were talking about it yesterday, that Brazil was a huge favorite in some sort of league or champion league or whatever. I don't know what it was. They were a huge favorite, and they like to the point where Brazil had basically declared themselves the winners. The president of Brazil was already congratulating the team on how great they were going to be. All this, and then they lost. And when they lost, fans actively jumped off the top of the stadium and just killed themselves. Like, I was like, "There's now I don't know how much that's true. I hope that's not, but that's so terrifying. That is so terrifying to the point where the team is so much favored to win, and yet they lose, and then fans who are just at the top of the stadium just straight up just jump. That's horrifying, horrifying thing to think. I mean, Brazil must have been. I mean, they are say one thing, say a lot about them, but they are passionate about soccer. They're passionate about football. They're passionate about soccer. It was wild to think like could you imagine? Could you imagine if you're a player walking off, going to your going ready to go home, and like you just see people falling basically from the sky? That's so horrifying. Good lord, horrifying. Oh, I don't know, man. That got dark really fast, but I was like, "There's no way." And apparently, it was a thing. It wasn't even that long ago, my understanding. Jay saying top 6 running backs of the season. That the last season: Zach Charbonnet, Cam Scadaboo, Quinshon Judkins, James Conner, Trey Benson, Najee Harris. You got 2 of them. James Conner and Najee Harris are goats, man. Oh my gosh. Just all didn't they all get hurt? Are all those guys got hurt last year? I'm pretty sure. Zach got hurt. Cam got hurt. Quinshon got hurt. Connor got hurt. I know Najee got hurt. Did Trey Benson get? Trey Benson must have gotten hurt too because they were playing like all those guys just like have shredded legs or something. All those guys had lower half leg injuries last year. Mark is saying, imagine killing yourself because your team lost. Dude, that's insane. I don't like, man. Listen, I've been very upset. I could not be that upset. Like that is absurd. Oh my gosh. That's just wild to have happen. Like especially because like again, like especially in those big soccer stadiums to be that high up, like, oh my, like how does security not account for that too? Like how does security not notice what these fans are doing? Like they gotta get actual security in there if that kind of stuff is gonna end up happening, because that's scary. All ACLs. Okay, I thought maybe there was an Achilles. I thought Najee's was an Achilles or something like that. But yeah, all I know for a fact, all lower half injuries for all 6 of those guys, which is pretty wild. Which is pretty nuts. But yeah, top 6. I could totally see it. Those guys will be the top 6 running backs in the league this year, no doubt. Um, 7:53. Game's about to be on in 7 minutes. I am going to end a little bit early just so I can get ready to set up the game, get myself a little bit of food, and get the game on. So that is probably what I'm going to end up doing. Another weird thing, another closing take, guys. I just did my NFL Top 100 edit, 191. If you haven't, go check it out and like it. It's on the YouTube channel right here. The thing is, I'm watching 80. Like I have to do 90 through 81 next. And oh my gosh, Bobby Wagner and Jalen Ramsey being on this list is just is ridiculous. Like this, I can't stress enough how Bobby Wagner's PR team is crazy good, and I can't stress how Jalen Ramsey's on this top 100 when I don't even think he was the best cornerback on the team of this on the Steelers last year. Like I feel like it was Joey Porter Jr. And the fact that he's on this list, and I know JPJ isn't going to be on this list, like for a fact. So I'm gonna have to do that edit probably in the next. It might be tomorrow because I probably won't be here tomorrow to stream Tuesday because I do have to meet with some people at like right at 7 o'clock, and I have to work like a full like I think 10-11 hour day tomorrow. So probably not gonna have a prime time episode tomorrow, but I will be back Thursday. Probably more World Cup stuff, and then I'm thinking I might start doing NFL division previews as well. I know it's kind of 2 things that don't really correlate necessarily, but I want to cover both. I want to get back into. Listen, it's July and I'm already fiending for the NFL, so that's just what it's gonna have to be. Jason, yeah, we're gonna need to talk about your edits for my random Yankee of the day because your edits been fire. Thanks, man. I was one I did especially now because I'm using the new software for these ones, like I'm using a different software for a couple of these, so It's definitely looking a lot better. Transitions are a lot nicer, and it's gonna be pretty good. So I'm hoping I can get. I gotta get new songs too. Like I usually get Taft to try to give me some songs, but a lot of the stuff he's been sending me is just kind of slow. I haven't told him that though. Like I haven't told him like send me songs for edits. He just sends songs like every day, and I presume I just find one and I just run with it. But we'll see. We'll see what other stuff he ends up sending me and see where I can go from there. But as always, guys, I appreciate you guys for hearing me, chatting me out. I'm probably gonna go watch US, and then probably also gonna tune into some of David and Eric's streams. So head on over there, go support the D&E takeover. Those guys are awesome. They're probably streaming right now. So yeah, appreciate. Well, now you have. Yeah, I have for sure. I'm very excited though. So, well, yeah, now I have. I guess now I probably have told him now because he's probably watching or something. But, yeah. So go check those boys out as always. Go check out D&E in the meantime, and I'll probably see you guys next time. Well, no, I'll see you guys Thursday. I won't see you guys on Tuesday. That's when I normally do it, but I will see you guys Thursday. It'll be back 7 to 8. Same thing as always. Appreciate y'all guys for tuning in. And then Jay had one more thing saying anything off the DMX Dark and Hell's Hot album. All right, bet we're diving into DMX for the next edit. DMX is going to be 90 through 81, so we'll see what's on there, see what I can find. Again, as always, though, I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm gonna head out, get some stuff to eat, tune into David and Eric's stream, and then I will see you guys on Thursday.